Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be on you all. Welcome to this short edition of commentary, really, in regards to this really strange video that I've just watched on Twitter. This is your host, Uthman Abu Mike. Watch the video first, and then we shall have a discussion about it.
While you are fighting for freedom, you are being blinded by lies. Israeli women were raped, slaughtered, burned alive by those you are fighting for. Open your eyes, fight for the truth.
Now, as you can see, it's rather bizarre to find a video, and it shows signs of desperation, absolute desperation. Now, this was on the Twitter page of the at Israel. It's called at Israel, the State of Israel's official Twitter account managed by at Israel MFA's digital diplomacy team. Hashtag bring them home. So I don't necessarily follow them. I do just watch some of their videos and read some of the comments that they come out with, and it's really quite sad because the fact that they don't have a lot of proof and evidence of what they are trying to really push out. But one thing they are so desperate, you can tell from this, is so desperate to win the minds and hearts of people around the globe. Now, one thing that they do have is lots and lots of money, and you can tell by the production of the video. And when you're watching the video, as you've just seen it, you see, firstly, focuses on Muslim women wearing this green bandana or this green banner on their heads, and then showing the other women, who I'm making the assumption, so I could be wrong, who are supposed to be just women or maybe Israeli women, and they make this accusation of rape and this kind of thing. Now, look at the banner. If you look at the first image or the first set of image of the Muslim women wearing the hijab and wearing the niqab covering their faces, you see the banner, the green banner on their head is very, very different to the green banner that those women, those actresses are holding in their hands, and they cover their eyes with it. And I think that's quite rude and disgusting, really, and disrespecting Islam. Why? Because the fact that the Muslim women wearing those banners on their head, it clearly says in Arabic, Al-Qasim Brigade, Katiba Al-Qasim. It clearly says it. Now, obviously, we know the mistakes that the Israelis army and the government keep making. And you remember the infamous soldier of the IDF who, pointed out, there is a list. And this list is the days of the week where the kidnappers will hold on to the hostages, and they know what they're doing. I mean, why on earth would kidnappers have a list in the first place to just put their names down to say who's looking after the hostages? But anyway, that's a different thing altogether. So clearly, Israeli government is spending so much money on this whole issue of publicity. They can surely spend a bit more money and get the Arabic correct of what they're trying to show. Or do they have another intention regarding this? And this is difficult for us to determine, but, it looks like it. Okay. Now, when you see those banners or the head banners, clearly says Al-Qasim Brigade on the Muslim women's heads. Now, just to make it clear that this persona of Hamas and Al-Qasim Brigade being, a dangerous organization, etc., and they're just a bunch of terrorists all around the world. Well, they are not deemed as terrorists in many countries. In the Western countries, yes. In Japan, yes. Australia, yes. Europe, yes. Well, not the whole of Europe. Only certain current countries in Europe. America, North America, yes. South America, not in the whole of South America. Africa. I don't think there's any in Africa where it's been outlawed. So again, this perception of Hamas or Al Qasim Brigade being this terrorist organization is not the same seen all around the world. However, in this context, what we're talking about here is you see the green banner on the Muslim women's head clearly says Al Qasim Brigade, and then those actresses pick up the green banner. For the moment, you think it's the same thing. It's not, it's totally different because the second banner is purely Islamic. It is the Shahada, the testimony of faith, which is La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. And in context, really just means there is no other God except Allah and Muhammad is the messenger. Now, it's quite ironic how they used that banner. They could have used the Al Qasim Brigade banner, but they didn't. They used the banner which showed only Islam, and then showing people you are being blind by having this Islamic banner over your eyes, and you have to believe us desperately. Please, we're begging the whole world to believe us that Israeli women were raped during the 7th of October attack. Now, I'm going to comment about that in a minute. But just focusing on this here, you see in the background, the people are shouting in English, free, free Palestine. But the demonstration that they show of the Muslims, and in particular the Muslim women, they are in Muslim countries. So they wouldn't be shouting free, 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 free Palestine, right? So what they've done here is, it's quite smart, really. But the intent is really wrong. They are trying to connect free, free Palestine, the chants all around the world, and trying to link it to Al Qasim Brigade or the Hamas demonstrations for them, and say there's no difference between them. They're exactly the same. So if you are on a pro-Palestinian march demonstration in London, in San Francisco, in Australia, in Japan, in South Korea, in Pakistan, in Jordan, then you're all the same. You're all Hamas. You're all Al Qasim Brigade. You're all terrorists. So you need to stop supporting them. Now, that's wrong. Now, towards the end of the clip, utter disrespect. I mean, how dare you, as a so-called the only democracy of the Middle East, you disrespect Islam by throwing the Shahada on the floor. Not even the banner of Al Qasim Brigade. It is the Shahada, what is dear to the Muslim. Utter disrespect. And then you want to make it out as if this is nothing to do of a war between, towards Islam. It clearly is showing that you are hostile towards Islam. It is clearly showing you are hostile towards Muslims as well. Now, on the issue of the allegations of rape, then let's make a comment regarding this issue. I don't think it's a case of really saying nobody believes that rape actually happened. But the fact at suggesting it was Hamas fighters or Al Qasim Brigade fighters, there needs to be proof. Now, there's no doubt a woman has been raped. It's a horrible situation for her. It's a horrible situation for her family, and she doesn't want to come out publicly. I understand that totally. But it's about looking at the events of what happened. So the 7th of October, they smash through the walls, the gates, and they enter into certain areas. They take hostages and they return back into Gaza. Now, no way did they have enough time to go in there and do all these things. And on top of that, they apparently burnt the bodies of the women that they raped. Now, to burn a body is a very difficult thing. They didn't have flamethrowers. If you look at those videos, it was anti-tank launchers, missiles, type RPGs, Kalashnikovs, and guns and what have you. Then none of them had that powerful flamethrower type equipment in order to burn bodies. So that's a question. That's the first question. Second question is this. Every female that has been released by Hamas or Al Qasim Brigade, none of them have actually come out and spoken about the ill treatment of males, the male fighters towards them. None of them suggested that they were sexually abused, and none of them suggested in the tunnels being held by Hamas fighters or Al Qasim Brigade fighters that they were raped or they witnessed raped. In fact, I watched one interview where the lady said they asked me to cover up. Okay, they asked me to wear 3 skirts or something like that, and I thought that's a strange thing to ask. But anyway, then there was a suggestion that those hostages that have been released were drugged up throughout the whole time while they were kept. I mean, it's absurd. It just gets worse and worse with the with, with the imagination and the lies that are coming out from the Israeli press and the Israeli government. It's just unbelievable. Now, what about the young lady who was released with her dog? Now, that's another, strange one. And in her interview, she said that they gave food for her dog, and they even gave her a place for the dog to do its, number 2 business and what have you, and they cleaned it up. So, really and truly, there's a massive contradiction. Look, in Islam, in Sharia, there is no way, shape, or form to allow rape in our religion. There's no way. Not like the rabbi of the military who's given his, you could say, his fatwa to allow soldiers to rape women in Gaza, non-Jewish women. Now, I know that this is his fatwa that he gave the rabbi in 2002, but, he came to be, he take his military position in 2016, I believe it was, and I'm not too sure if he still is a part of the military or not. But the point being, if they did do this, then not only are they sinful under Sharia, they would be punished as well. There's no doubt about it. The other thing to remember is, guys, when the attack happened and they took the hostages, don't forget there was obviously holes in the walls and in the gates. Possibility could have been that other members or other Palestinians saw the opportunity and went in, and maybe they did steal. I mean, come on, they're human beings. They did steal, and maybe they did rape. I understand these things do happen. However, to attribute it to Hamas fighters or to attribute it to purely towards Qasim Brigade fighters is not the right thing to do. It's all about proof. So bring the proof, and we've seen the opposite. Like I said, the hostages have come out and said we were treated well. None of the women, not even one woman, has come out and said I was sexually abused or raped while being held as a prisoner. So, my dear brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave it there for you. You can see what's going on, and I hope to God you can see the difference in the reporting and the difference in what the Israeli government and the Israeli media are desperate to come out with. And there will be a lot more information coming. So look through those types of information and make your own mind up. Don't let the media influence you in a way where you are listening to all their jargon, and let's face it, all the rubbish that a lot of it coming out with. So just be balanced. Look at different types of news, read different types of social media, and make up your own mind. Wa jazakumullahu khairan. God bless. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.